Hello everyone. Thought we'd do a frosty video this morning. Well, it's afternoon actually. Actually, it's almost dinner time. Anyway, this is what we get to deal with here in the Michigan. It's about how much snow we got in the last couple of days. I'm currently digging out the driveway. And wife and I did that section back there in the sidewalk. Got Bullet out in the street and just brushed off Mr. D, and we're gonna fire up. We'll call it a cold start video. And just my little pad here. And while Mr. D's warming up, we'll talk about some of the things I got going on. So I still got to do this section here. This driveway is a little long, and it's me and the little red shovel, so we find the keys to everybody. And we'll get the old D going. I think it's 16 degrees today. And they're talking like it might get down to negative 12 wind chills tomorrow. So we'll call this a cold start video. How about that? And there she goes. So, not much of a cold start video. I didn't struggle, but hey, that's the way it is, I guess. We'll turn this on some defrost. Let her sit here and warm up a little bit. And while we let the car warm up and I warm up myself a little bit here, we'll talk about some of the things we got going on. So this little pad I got here is probably where I'm going to be working on the cars. Most of the time I want to get like a shed or some kind of makeshift. They sell these tent garages. I want to make one of those. Most of the time Bullet's going to be sitting there. Bullet's going to sit there. Bullet's just sort of going to be a pet project of mine. Something I tinker with. I plan on buying a project car, also an older car. I want an older car. And by older, I mean like early 90s, late 80s something, like along them lines. I'm not looking to get into a basket case car from the 70s or early 80s because, well, I just don't got that kind of time and patience anymore. And, or money. And those cars are really starting to get up in the pricing. Where I used to buy Delta 88s and you know, them old B-body LeSabres and them older 80s model Crown Vics and stuff like that. Get them $500-600 a pop. Well, them days are over. You can't even find a roller with no engine or transmission for less than $2-3 grand now. So I don't see that happening anytime soon. But the early 90s stuff is starting to appreciate in age and still cheap. So got my eye on a 1992 Cutlass Sierra that's in town here, and hopefully the fella don't sell it before I get it to cash up. But I really like to have that car. I owned something like 2 or 3 Cutlass Sierras in the past. My mother's owned 2 Cutlass Sierras, and my grandmother had a Cutlass Sierra. So I know my way around a Cutlass Sierra, and I really did enjoy those cars, especially with the 3.3 liter V6 engine. So might grab one of those. Otherwise, Bullet's gonna sit. Gonna have my project vehicle sitting in front of Bullet. The Dodge is gonna be sitting in front of that, and my wife's car, Sally, is gonna be sitting on the end so she can get in and out regularly because she leaves way more than I do. But yeah, that's basically what's going on there. We're probably going to get Sally next weekend, we hope. The Saturn had needed a bunch of work done to the suspension, so we went ahead and had them do it. It's got all brand new struts and coil springs and shocks in the rear. And waiting on the financials, basically, and they're dragging their feet on it. We got a loan that we had to pay off. We got that all paid off, and it took them a month to process it. So they finally got that done. Now we're waiting on the second half of that situation to come forth so we can pay for the car and bring it home. But otherwise it's still there. It's still our car, hopefully. But yep, be happy to bring that car home. We got a lot of work to do to that car as well. I gotta do the PCV mod immediately, and gotta put an oil catch can in it, because those 3.6 GM engines, they don't breathe too good, and that's why the timing chains explode in them. Got a lot of crankcase pressure, so you gotta relieve that pressure. So we're gonna do the PCV mod and the oil catch can. I'm also going to change the transmission fluid right away. It's due for a trans fluid service, so we're gonna do that while the doing's good. And this next week I got gallbladder surgery, so I'm gonna be down for a couple of weeks, and doctor said basically ain't gonna be able to do nothing for 7 days, and then I'll be able to go back to work, but I'll have a 15-pound weight restriction that I gotta comply with. So that's for 3 weeks. So when I do go to work, I'm not gonna be able to lift much of anything. So we'll see. But to that end, yeah, as you mentioned, I do have a job. I finally found some work. I'm a janitor by trade. I really enjoy being a janitor. So I cleaned one of the local office buildings here in town, and yeah, it's a part-time gig, but it's a gig, and you know, does all right. So that's basically it. That's the update. As far as die-cast cars go, not really finding much. I found a Hot Wheels Dodge Charger monster truck yesterday. It's the newest Dodge Charger monster truck. It's green and black. And today we went up to get some potting soil because one of the cats knocked a plant over, so we had to replant a plant. And I found an Auto World Dodge Stealth, and when I was a kid, man, them Stealths were awesome. You know. So I think that's it. Got a bunch of stuff coming for the Dodge. We're gonna get the Dodge going. I'm going to postpone buying a bunch of parts for Bullet right now because Bullet's just gonna sit. So basically just gonna run her out of gas, throw her on the thing here, and just let her be for a little while, and we'll get back to Bullet later. Because I gotta do the Saturn, I gotta fix up the Dodge, needs a ton of maintenance work. The front struts are starting to get blown out because they're starting to rattle, and my project vehicle is going to be another one where it's probably sitting for a while and we'll just tinker on it here and there. You know, I'm not planning on insuring it or plating it right away. It's just something to mess with. The reason why we're keeping the Pontiac Grand Prix is the Grand Prix is a bucket list car for me. Now, it's not the correct year, but neither is the Charger. But I've decided, because I'm not going to be able to probably ever afford the year cars that I wanted, that I'm just going to get a version. So the Grand Prix is a 2006. I want a 1991 Grand Prix STE with a 3.1 turbo. That's the dream car. Because I remember seeing one when I was like 10 years old and just loved it. And there was a movie out in the late or early 90s called Josh and Sam. It was about these two kids. They steal their mom's car and go on this cross-country adventure, and their mom just happens to drive a like 88, 89 Pontiac Grand Prix SE. And this is back when the SE was the top of the line package, not like now where SE is the standard edition. So it was all decked out. Sweet looking car, and I've always loved those first gen front wheel drive W body Grand Prix. So, and I've owned several Grand Prix over the years, several of them. I don't even know how many. But Bullitt just doesn't owe us anything. We've had that car 8 years, and you know, we've had to do some work to it, but nothing like real major. We did intake gaskets on it. I think that was the biggest thing we did to that car, and it just starts up and goes and doesn't give us hardly any trouble. So that car is family, and I'm never getting rid of it. They're gonna have to tow it out of here, rot it out before I get rid of it. The Charger, I'm gonna do some stuff, and I'll reveal what we're gonna do with the Charger as well, so at some point, and then we'll go on with the other two vehicles as we go. But to that end, I guess this is it. We'll call this a video. I gotta get back to work, as you can see, if you can see, it's starting to snow again. So I gotta get the Charger pulled out of here, get this patch done, pull the Charger back in, and pull the Grand Prix in behind it. So alright guys, we'll talk to you all later.